Hi, I'm Richard Few, founder and chief geek at Sales Geek, and this is another on-the-road edition of Weekly Geek, specifically in our spare room at home. We are in the middle of moving to the new Geek Bunker, but it needs a little bit of work, so we've got a few more weeks of on-the-road Weekly Geeks before we get back to normal being in front of the whiteboard. So in this week's Weekly Geek, I want to talk to you about time. Now, time as a salesperson, but also as a business owner and also as a human being, is actually the only real commodity we have to trade. You think about everything that you do, fundamentally you're trading time for a return. You give time in return for something else. So there might be a job, you might be working 40 hours a week, you give those 40 hours, you get a return. You might be in business, you might spend a day building a website for somebody, and in return you get an income for that. So everything we do, we spend our time in return for hopefully a return on that investment of time, and it's precious. And therefore, when you're thinking about giving to your customers or giving to your network, time is the most valuable commodity that you have to give. It's priceless. It's hard to put a price on your time. We don't have an infinite amount of it. Therefore, the fact that you've consciously given some of that time to somebody else means a lot more as a gift than maybe a material item as well. So, from a giving perspective, I want you to have a think as a business owner, as a sales director, as a salesperson, or even as somebody in society trying to build friendships. So the best gift you can ever give anybody is your time. But also in sales and in business, you also have to have an appreciation for other people's time. Like I say, it's very precious. It's the only kind of, I guess, commodity that we have that isn't infinite. You can't just keep going and getting more of it, right? It runs out eventually. So when you're engaging with somebody, and certainly if that person's a new client, be really mindful and conscious of their time and their time that you're taking. Be very courteous about the time that you're essentially asking them for to create an opportunity for yourself to sell a product or service. And the best example of this I can possibly give is if you're in an environment where you need to make phone calls to people to initially introduce what you do, and maybe that's to transact on the phone, or that might be making a phone call to make a meeting. Something simple like asking them whether now is a good time or not. Now, some people are scared to ask that question because they think it makes an easy out for the person they're speaking to. But I absolutely promise you that the quickest and easiest way to annoy somebody and make them much less likely to buy what you do, or buy the meeting that you're trying to book with them, is to catch them when they're in the middle of doing something really important, or they're absolutely up to here with their stress, or they don't have the time to give you, they just happen to answer their phone, and you've launched into a sales pitch without asking them if it's okay. It's a really, really quick way to alienate somebody very, very quickly. So I guess the key messages from today's On The Road Weekly Geek. The first one is, think about the time, the gift that you give to other people, the time that you give other people. Think about the time that you spend on the activities that you spend throughout the week, and whether you're actually giving time to the right stuff. But also, really, really have empathy for other people's time, and show that by asking if it's okay for you to have some of it. So give it willingly to the right people. It's the best gift you will ever give. So please do leave some comments below. I'd love to know your view on the time point that we're making today. Do you consciously give your time to people? Are you aware of the fact that it's not an infinite resource and it's possibly the greatest gift you could ever give? So please leave some comments. If you haven't already, please jump on YouTube. You can subscribe on YouTube. It means you get a nice little email every time we upload a new video. You can also jump onto salesgeek.co.uk. You can subscribe on there so you get these direct into your inbox every single week. I'm Richard Few, founder and chief geek at Sales Geek, and it's been a privilege for me to give you my time tonight.